Hello Mason Nation and welcome to Mason Sports Insider. As always, I am your host, Tyler Byrum. Looking right up the momentum from the homecoming victory, the men's basketball team hosted the Byrum Rams on Wednesday. Coming into this game, the Rams were 343rd in the country shooting from behind the arc, but that would not stop them from trying in this game. For a majority of the game, Mason led the Rams using the leadership and quickness of Marquise Moore, who would go on to score 13 points in the game. With a slight lead at halftime at 34-30, the Patriots looked like they could ride away the game out and slowly pull away. However, this is when the three-point shooting of Byrum woke up from being able to put 11 out of their 18 attempts in the basket. The lead by the Rams got pushed up to 13, and the Patriots would fall 80-68. Once again, Siobhan Thompson was able to record yet again another double-double with 19 points and 10 rebounds. On Saturday, the team then hosted the Rams again, this time the Rhode Island Rams. The game got started off with back-and-forth action between both teams until halfway through the first half when E.C. Matthews came to the game for Rhode Island and put the Rams up front by scoring 13 of his 18 points. Right in a 14-point lead, the Rams would keep the scoring difference for a majority of the rest of the game. There was one point when Corey Edwards, who had 8 points in the game, and Marquise, who had 5 points in the game, cut the lead down to single digits for the Rams. However, that was enough for Rhode Island, who despite allowing Siobhan Thompson to get his 15th double-double with 15 points and 14 rebounds, pushed the lead back to 15, where it would stay as they would go on to win 71-56. Mason now falls to 8-18 on the season, 3-11 in the Atlantic 10, putting the Patriots in dead last in the conference. Meanwhile, Rhode Island and VCU have separated from the pack and will battle it out for the regular season championship. The women's basketball team headed into a matchup with St. Joseph's, hoping to climb into the top half of the Atlantic 10 standings. From the get-go, Mason struggled to match up offensively and got behind the Red Hawks early on. In the first half, the Patriots only shot 30% and went into the locker room trailing 38-21. As they came out for the second half, not much changed as the team continued to struggle shooting the ball. Only two players for Mason, Christy Makube and Taylor Brown, were able to reach double figures compared to the 6 on the St. Joseph side of the ball. This would lead to a loss for the Patriots, 82-51. However, due to the deficit for such an early part of the game, a majority of the bottom half of the roster received playing time from Mason that they would not normally see. Then heading into a matchup against St. Louis, the team was trying to stay relevant in the Atlantic 10 standings. The game tipped off in front of a St. Louis record 7,184 fans, and the game, right from the get-go, played into the Billikens' hands. While Mason was able to hold St. Louis to only 7 scoring players, one of them, Sadie Stipanovich, was able to record 35 points. This ties the Atlantic 10 high that was previously set by Taylor Brown, who only scored 21 points in this matchup, 18 of which were scored in the second half. With that being said, the Patriots' shooting struggles continued by shooting 14.7% in the first half. It slightly improved to 40.6% in the second half, but by that time, the damage had been done and Mason lost 82-59. The team falls all the way to 11th in the conference standings with a 13-14 record, 5-9 in conference. In order to get a first-round bye in the Atlantic 10, the Patriots must jump ahead one spot past St. Bonaventure. The A-10 Swimming and Diving Championships took place this past weekend, with the Patriots hoping to break through and improve on last year's placement. The men's team was able to match last season's third place with 525 points, while the women's team fell to sixth place with 421 points. Numerous Patriots were able to come home with gold medals, most notably Travis Laurie, who won 2 titles, including the 50-yard freestyle and the 100-yard butterfly, in which he set a conference record of 47.86 seconds and earned an NCAA B standard qualifying time. Other individuals receiving NCAA B qualifying times were William Clendenin, who finished second in the 400-yard IM, as well as Sarah Browler, who won the 200-yard breaststroke. Sydney Fisher won the 50-yard freestyle, Steph Mara the 200-yard backstroke, and Daniel Camozo won the 200-yard butterfly. The only team gold medal was the men's 200-yard freestyle relay, as a team of Bignell, Morin, Burley, and Laurie won with a time of 1 minute and 59.45 seconds. On Thursday night, the wrestling team hosted Grand Canyon on senior night at the Rec. Honoring the seniors of Ryan Hunsberger, Ryan Henry, Derek Dwyer, and Jake Kettler, the Patriots rolled through the match. The first contested match was won by Hunsberger 8-1, and Mason did not look back, winning every match and winning their 10th duel of the season 34-3 over the Antelopes. Moving to the weekend, the team was scheduled to take on number 14 Northwestern at Robinson High School. However, due to the weather, the matchup got moved back to the Rec. The Wildcats have 5 of the top-ranked wrestlers in each of their respective weight classes. Unfortunately for Mason would lose every competitive matchup, winning only 12 points by forfeit, and losing the overall duel 31-12. Then for their final regular season duel, the team traveled to Washington, D.C. to take on American University. This was a whole lot more competitive matchup, but the 4-0 decisions by Zahid Kogbo and Jake Kettler, paired with the 5-0 decision by Patrick Davis, was not enough for the Patriots as they lost 21-16. The indoor track and field team traveled to Rhode Island for the A-10 Indoor Championships this past Saturday and Sunday. Both teams fell just short of the Atlantic 10 title, by both teams finishing second, the men's behind Rhode Island and the women's behind VCU. However, numerous Patriots were able to win individual awards. Bethany Schadelman in the 5,000 meter, Lindsey Horton in the pole vault, Xavier King Jr. in the 400 meter, as well as Jimmy Telle in the triple jump. Siobhan Briscoe broke a school record in the preliminary round of 60 meters with a time of 8.44 seconds as she went on to win the gold in the finals. Team-wise, there were multiple gold medals awarded, with Mason winning the men's distant medley with the team of Miller, May, Savage, and Flynn, in addition to both the men's and women's 4x400 meter relay races. John Seals from Mason also took home A-10 male rookie of the meet by winning the high jump and scoring the most points than any other male competitor. The men's volleyball team came home for their first game of the 2015 season and plays Lees McRae College. Unlike their season, this matchup was very anti-dramatic as the Patriots swept the Bobcats 3-0. This out-of-conference game allowed Coach Chow to alter the rotation around and brought forth new players that would not normally get in a lot of playing time. In particular, Alex Fropek had a career game playing for a majority of the second and third sets in a move made by Coach Chow.
Well, Alex has earned it. I mean, he's been a guy that kind of, in practices, he has to compete against everybody. He has to compete against the starters. He has to compete against the mixed teams, and he's always competing against them. And I was confident that Alex was going to be able to come in and do what he normally does. And that's important for us later on down the road because I need to get him experienced. So if something should happen that we need him to fill that role, he'll be comfortable doing it.
He would record 6 steals on 12 attacks, being second to only Paco Velez, who recorded 10 kills as well as 7 service aces. Returning home was a huge relief for the Patriots as the team looked forward to the rest of the season.
It's nice to be home. It's nice to see our group of people, our fans, and really to be home. It's nice. Yeah.
The team moves to 3-8 on the season, still last in the EIVA, as next weekend they will get back in conference action and travel to league-leading Princeton and Penn State. The men's tennis team had their matchup against the University of District Columbia postponed to this upcoming weekend, but still traveled to Navy on Sunday. Like the Patriots have done all season, they won the doubles point, but fell when it came to singles play. The only victory was by Daniel Gutierrez, winning 6-1, 7-5 in the number 6 spot as the Patriots fell to Navy 5-2. The baseball team traveled to UNC Wilmington for the Hughes-Bro Challenge this past weekend. They started by taking on Wake Forest in the first game on Saturday. The game was closely knotted until in the 4th inning when the Demon Deacons broke through the scoring and scored 6 runs against Tyler Zombro. The Patriots could not close the gap and lost to Wake Forest 9-3, with 2 of those 3 runs being scored by Luke Willis. Heading into their second matchup against UNC Wilmington, the Patriots hope to ride off last week's A-10 Pitcher of the Week, John Williams. Mason got a quick start by a Nick Galler 2 RBI single and a Trevor Kelly 2 RBI double that had the Patriots up 5-0 in the second inning. Williams would then concede 5 runs before being replaced in the 6th inning, but the momentum was gone. In the bottom of the 8th inning, the Seahawks scored 7 runs and would be too large of a deficit as the Patriots lost 12-8. To close the tournament, Mason took on Western Carolina. Like the previous game, Mason got off to an early lead, but it would not be for long, for in the 3rd inning, the Catamount scored 3 runs. Western Carolina would then go on to tack on 14 total runs in the game and win 14-5. The top performer of the game was once again Luke Willis, who went 2 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI. The loss puts the team at 1-5 on the year as they concluded their preseason tournament part of the schedule and will be heading home this week. The women's lacrosse team opened up their season down in South Carolina against Winthrop. Early on, the Eagles took advantage of Mason's fouls and went up 6-1. Caitlin McGinn would then score her only 2 goals in a row to bring the Patriots within 3. This would be the closest Mason would get, as Jenna Kazmarek for Winthrop would tally 5 goals on the day and lead the Eagles to a 17-6 victory. The team, while traveling up to Fairfax, took a break and stopped at Campbell University for a matchup. Mason got off to a hot start, scoring 8 goals in the first half and held a 6-goal lead. 3 of those goals were scored by Melissa Lobacaro, the leading scorer of the match. The goalkeeper, Taylor Carpenter, was able to snatch 9 saves while allowing only 5 goals to be scored against her en route to the Patriots' 9-5 victory, her first career win. Well, that will end this week's edition of Mason Sports Insider. Here is this week's upcoming schedule. On Wednesday, the baseball team will travel to Longwood at 3 o'clock, and then at 7, the men's basketball team will go to Dayton to take on the Flyers, while at the same time, the women's basketball team will host Fordham. On Friday, the men's tennis team will make up their matchup against the University of the District of Columbia at 1:30, as well as the women's tennis team making up their matchup against Towson at 5:30. The men's volleyball team will go to Princeton at 7 o'clock to end the night. Saturday, the women's tennis team will host Morgan State at 1 o'clock, while their men counterparts will go to William & Mary at 4. Continuing on the road, Mason men's volleyball will play the New Jersey Institute of Technology at 6. And later that night, the men's basketball team will travel to St. Louis at 7. On Sunday, after the A-10 championships, the indoor track and field team will host Mason Last Chance at 2 o'clock. The women's basketball team will also go to D.C. to play revolutionary rival George Washington. Well, that will do it, and until next time, I am Tyler Byrum. See you next time, Mason.